Welcome to episode 16 of Echoes from the Arena. We're entitling this one Grab Bag because we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things. I would like to start, Dad, with a piece of information that I found from a buddy of mine,
Okay.
um, Dave.
Okay.
You know him, but
Yes.
uh, he was listening to our last episode
Okay.
and said that he had a rare opportunity to chat with Ken Dryden.
Oh, neat.
He was Cornell, year 66. He
Okay.
was in the same fraternity,
Oh, okay. Neat.
uh, I believe, Sigma Phi, Uh, he said at a national dinner on March 4th, probably 15 years ago, Cornell was the host. He was the flagship speaker. I read both his books about hockey, and the one about the Canada Cup was exceptional. This was a text message he sent me
Okay.
afterwards. Said he was
Okay.
an exceptional gentleman, intelligent on a different emotional and academic level. Add to that the player that he was, the fact that he took time out of this convention to have a drink with me, and as I reminded him, his worst win percentage was in the odd.
That's Dave.
That's him. So I
That
thought
is
that was
a
really
that
interesting,
that
but
is an interesting that is an
doesn't
interesting anecdote.
doesn't surprise me, I think, from what at least we know about Ken Dryden and the type of person that he was.
What?
Um, Very thoughtful man.
Yeah, I think the persona which I think we tried to portray in the last episode. I think Dave
Captured
kind
it
of
in a moment.
he kind of got it in the moment and corroborated, you know,
What we talked about.
what we talked about, what we thought. So
Mhm.
that's good to know. That's neat.
Yeah. So this is just for reference, folks. This is September 21st. We were taping on a Sunday during some football, although the 4 o'clock games have been kind of. Um, but Dad, you had just also mentioned that we've lost a couple other goaltenders recently.
Yeah, last week we lost Ed Giacomin, who was the starting goalie for the New York Rangers, around the same time as Ken Dryden, who was
Hmm.
starring for the Montreal Canadiens. And then just this morning, I saw on social media that Bernie Parent, who was the stopper and mainstay
For the
of those
Flyers.
great Flyer teams, passed away also. So, as you mentioned, things have seem to happen in threes. So
Yeah.
there you go. Three, they would be all-star goaltenders,
All from the same era.
all from the same era. And I probably should have done my homework. I don't know about Giacomin, but I know Dryden and Bernie Parent are both in the Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
Giacomin most likely is in the Hall of Fame.
Don't know.
So yeah, I'm not 100% sure of that. But
I noticed that you called Bernie Parent the goaltender of the Flyers team and not the hockey team because they
yeah,
didn't really play hockey back then.
no.
They were
Yeah,
doing
they were
something
they
else.
were definitely the Broad Street Bullies. They were
Yeah.
definitely a ragtag outfit of some very good players.
So we wanted to, there was a few things we wanted to touch on. We thought about doing some shorts, and maybe I can rip some of these down into reels, but we kind of felt like we were shortchanging some of the topics that we were going to talk about. So, Dad, where do you want to start today?
Let's start with the a little bit of about the Ryder Cup, since the
Yeah,
Ryder Cup
Ryder Cup's
will
about to start
commence on Friday of this week
mhm,
in at Bethpage Black
in New
on
York
Long
State.
Island in New York State, and the competition dates back to 1921. So in 1921, and then again in
Mhm.
1926, there was a friendly competition between British and American golfers. It was an exhibition, so it wasn't the
What it
Ryder
is now.
Cup per se. Yes.
Yeah.
And then in 1927, the year your grandfather was born, the was the first official Ryder Cup competition hosted by the Worcester. I'm using the Boston pronunciation,
Worcester?
Worcester Country Club,
Huh.
and a very famous
We're talking
golfer.
Worcester, right?
Yes,
Okay.
a very a very famous
Just
golfer was
verify.
the captain of that team, Walter Hagen, and that team beat the Brits. And the Ryder Cup comes from a gentleman by the name of Samuel Ryder, who is a Brit and made his fortune selling garden seeds.
Oh
I
shit.
guess with all those great English gardens, he was fairly wealthy
Yeah.
and a avid golfer. So in the 30s, the dominating team were the Americans. The competition was suspended from 39 to 45 due to the Second
Or
World War. It was it picked up again in 47, which kind of cemented the fact that the Americans are very dominant. However, in 19, let me get the years right. In 1973, the Irish were added to the British team, which I guess is they should have been because
should
they
have been.
are there's all well, you gotta be careful.
You got to put you right.
Ireland is not part of England anymore, but
Northern
Northern Ireland
Ireland
is.
is.
So Ireland became part of the British squad. That didn't really help. The Americans were still dominant. And then in 1979, surprisingly, with the urging of Jack Nicklaus and a few other golfers, they liked the idea to have the entire continent of Europe
Yeah, the one
represented
team.
versus the United States. So that's where we're at now. So now you're getting a lot of golfers in 79 when they expanded,
Mhm.
Ballesteros was one of the best golfers in the world, so he was eligible to play the Ryder
He's
Cup.
Spanish.
He's Spanish, and from then on, it's become a very competitive series. It goes every 2 years. The last Ryder Cup was played 2 years ago in Rome, Italy, with the European team winning fairly convincingly, if I remember correctly. And one of the interesting high points of the series was in 1999. The tournament was being played at the Country Club, which is in Brookline, Massachusetts.
I
The
think I know
You
about.
remember
I
that
think I
one?
remember this one.
The
Is this the one when
Americans
they
were
made the
way
crazy
behind.
comeback?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Americans were way behind going into Sunday, and someone sunk a long putt on the 18th hole uh, for the Americans to edge out the Europeans.
I remember that.
So that
I
was
was 16.
one of the high points. So check it out. It will be this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Mm.
from a very demanding course on Long Island.
And you'll see
And
some match play if you're not used to seeing that.
you will see match play. And just to add, this year's captain is Keegan Bradley.
Mhm.
Now, usually the captain doesn't play, at least not in recent memory. However,
He,
my advice, if
he's pretty
if
good.
if Keegan's out there listening, play because he's had a good year. He had a really good year this year. So there you go.
It'd be an
That's the Ryder
interesting,
Cup.
interesting Ryder Cup. A lot of really good American players right now. Top player in the world is it still Scheffler?
Still Scotty Scheffler. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So,
you'll see Scheffler and
do we know what? Do we know what it's on? Is it on Peacock or is it on
I
ESPN?
think that's a good question. I don't really know what it's on, to be honest with you.
I will check.
We need to check. You really need
I'm
to
gonna
watch it.
check right now. Um,
And like Matt said, if you're not used to seeing match play, it's interesting.
we're getting one-on-one. Yeah,
Yes.
like you're playing against one other player.
Yeah.
You guys are both playing the course, but you're playing against somebody else.
Right. Right.
Where to watch the Ryder?
And I think there's what is there? There's four ball, there's best ball, I think. So it's all a combination of the various games that can be played. But it's a fun competition. Well, I shouldn't say it's fun. These guys want to win. It's
Yeah.
very the bragging rights are very important. So
Peacock will offer extensive streaming options online. It'll be between NBC and USA, with USA airing the first day of matches on Friday and NBC taking over for the final 2 days of play on the weekend.
Hmm, good. Okay,
So
great.
I'll get to see pretty much everything. Keep that in mind. Um, Another thing we wanted to discuss, and I'll take this one, was the retiring of Lee Corso off of College Game Day. He has been a staple of college football for my entire life. Um, well, actually, nearly my entire life. He joined ESPN in 1987 as part of the original College Game Day crew.
You were 4 years old. Okay.
I was four.
You're
Yeah.
four, yes.
And before I get into that, I would like to know who was the original 1987 College Game Day crew, because that
Hmm.
might be interesting. Any
I don't
idea?
even know. I have no idea.
Oh,
Going back.
I do recognize all three names.
It's probably is it a since retired ESPN?
I don't know. Tim Brando was the host,
Okay. I do remember Tim Brando. I do
and he
remember
still
Tim
does
Brando.
March Madness.
Still doing games too. Yeah, he's still
And
doing games.
analysts were Beano Cook and Lee Corso.
I should remember Beano Cook. Yes. Beano,
Anyone named
yes.
after a gas medication, you got to remember that.
Yeah, Beano Cook. Yes. Remember Beano. Beano was on everything back in the day.
So Lee was a beloved figure, as far as American college football has been concerned. I always found him to be pretty entertaining. Didn't always agree with his choices as far as the games were concerned, but he clearly had a love for college football that really came out, I think, in the way that he reacted with the crowd, reacted with his peers and stuff. He was born on August 7th, 1935, which makes him
Okay.
90. So
Wow.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was ready to retire in Cicero, Illinois. He played college football at Florida State University, where he played quarterback and cornerback. Do you know his nickname, Dad?
I did not. No, I did not.
Well, they shortened it down for the show. Remember they used to call him Scooter?
Oh, yes. Yes. That was his
Well, his
nickname.
nickname was Sunshine Scooter
Oh, Sunshine Scooter.
for his speed on the field, and he held the Florida State career interception record
Wow.
for over 20 years. He had 14 career interceptions. His coaching career started at Florida State in 1958 as a graduate assistant. His first head coaching role, I should say, was 1969 at Louisville. From 69 to 72, he was there. He won two Missouri Valley Conference titles. Remember, this is well before the BCS, well before all these conferences kind of mashed into a few big conferences. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
you had a lot of conferences and maybe a little more parity amongst the conferences. Then he went on to coach at Indiana, 1973 to 1982. He was known for building competitive programs despite underdog status.
Remember
Indiana was not a football power. They were a basketball power at this
basketball.
time.
Yes. I remember him in Indiana because that was what years? What years was he at Indiana?
73 to 82.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember because that would have been when the dominant teams were coached by Bo Schembechler
Hmm.
at Michigan and Woody Hayes at Ohio State. So those are the two dominant schools that really dominated that conference.
Yeah,
So poor Indiana was poor Indiana
they were in.
was left out
It
there.
was rough for them.
But
Um,
yeah, I remember that.
then in 1984, he coached at Northern Illinois, and then he got a job in '85 coaching in an upstart football league called the USFL. He coached for the Orlando Renegades, Dad, right around
Okay.
the corner from
Okay.
you.
Yes, yes. That I did not know.
Yeah. He had a losing record overall across college and professional coaching. He did coach some difficult programs. So USFL did not last very long. So he was coaching the Orlando Renegades in '85. He was out of a job in coaching the next year. Joined ESPN in 1987 as part of the original College Game Day crew. Um, if you're not familiar with who he is, just look up College Game Day highlights of somebody donning mascot headgear. That's who it is. That's who it
Yes.
is.
I remember the Florida Gator one. Remember the Florida Gator headgear.
Oh, I mean, I remember all of them.
I think I remember the Nebraska Cornhusker.
I I just love the idea. I was trying to explain to my fiance like what that's
Hmm.
like. Like wherever they're doing college game day, that's always the last game they pick, and he
Hmm.
signifies his pick by donning the head of the mascot of the team he thinks is going to win. Um, an interesting fact that you and I, or a thing that you and I might find interesting. Son of Italian immigrants,
Okay. Yep.
earned both a bachelor's and master's degrees in education.
Oh, okay. From Florida State. Yes.
And I told you this the other day, but roommate of Burt Reynolds at Florida State, which makes sense considering Burt Reynolds was the running back and not a slouch running back
No, he was good running. He was good.
either.
He was a very good ball player. Very good ball player. He also, I remember Corso said something very interesting. Kind of, it's kind of obvious, but I think when someone of his stature says it, it kind of hits home. I remember back when Miami, the University of Miami was dominant, uh,
Hmm.
maybe the Jimmy Johnson days and what have you. He was saying he was
The
commenting
first
on
U,
the first U. He was commenting on a game, and he was saying how if you have superior talent, and in Miami's case, it was not just size, but it was speed. And he said if you had superior talent, you would win approximately 80% of the time, which is probably true.
that's probably right.
And I think it does factor in with college because of the inequity of the
Mm.
program. So
S-
interesting,
Spectrum of
interesting.
talent from the
Yeah,
worst team to the best team is so
exactly.
much wider than it is
Exactly.
in the NFL because it's college, more
Yes,
teams.
exactly.
And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up his catchphrase of
Mhm.
"Not so fast, my friend."
Yes.
Not so
That
fast. I'll
was
try to find some clips of him saying that, but
yeah, we got to put that on our Facebook
I
page.
love that. I
Not so
love it.
fast.
You always have the pencil. I have a pen,
Yeah, the
granted. You don't have any
pencil, yeah, the
pencil out.
pencil, yes. But yeah, he was a character. He was one of football's great characters. I would put him right up there with as far as characters with Lou Holtz,
I like
who
him
was
better than Lou, though. He's less obnoxious.
yeah, yeah. No, I like him better than Lou. But he was a true character. And, great for college football, and he's going to be
Hmm.
missed on game day.
Game
I
on
enjoyed
game day,
having
yeah.
him. I really
Yeah.
did. Enjoyed seeing him all those years. But
So let's move on to something that we have a personal connection to, which
yes.
is well, I'll let you. I don't want to step on it.
Well, sadly, again, we're talking. We're just talking about goalies who are
Ken
passing
Dryden
away.
passing away, goalies passing away. We also
Um,
lost a we lost a beloved American actor,
we lost an actor, and
an
I said
icon.
he's an icon. He was an icon. I had the pleasure of meeting him um, with your aunt.
So I
Your
was gonna
aunt's.
say I think we have 1 degree of separation from Robert Redford.
Yes, your aunt's very first job out of Syracuse University, where she was a film major.
Hmm.
She graduated. She came back home to the Buffalo area, and that summer they were hiring for a movie they were shooting in Buffalo, mainly in Buffalo. The majority of the exteriors were shot in Buffalo, called The
Hmm.
Natural, which I'm sure a lot of us have seen the movie. I believe it was 1982 or 83. I'll check it in a minute, but
No, go ahead, keep going. I'll
these
find it.
years kind of compress upon each other.
Hmm.
But I remember driving her down to the Maston Armory, which the production company was using as an office, and her funny story. Um, I'm, we walk in. My sister says she has an appointment with the producer.
Hmm.
I forget the producer's name, but I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and there's young guys running back and forth, very California. The blonde hair, the sunglasses, the Fila tennis shirt, khakis. So he's running around and he goes into an office and he disappears. And about 10 minutes later, my sister comes out and she says, I got the job as a production assistant. I said, oh, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. I said, yeah, I noticed this as we were walking out to the car. I said, yeah, this young guy in a Fila shirt and khakis is running around. He must be a gopher. And she looks at me and says, that's the producer who hired me. I said, oh, okay,
His name
okay.
his name was Mark Johnson.
Mark Johnson, yes, thank you. And he went on to produce Rain Man and a lot of Barry Levinson's other films. So he's a very
He was
well-known
very
producer.
instrumental in bringing Bernard Malamud's novel to the screen, working alongside director Barry Levinson and star-studded cast led by Robert Redford. It was
Yes.
also the first film produced by TriStar Pictures.
Oh, was it? Okay. I did not know
Yeah.
that. I did not know that. Do you have the year there? Was it
It
82?
was released in 84, so I
Okay.
imagine
So
it
it
was made in
was
82,
83.
83.
83. 83. Um,
Well, yeah, she would have just graduated and I was at her graduation, wasn't
yeah,
it?
you were at a graduation.
So it would
The
have been
day I was
83.
there, this is how interesting the film business is. The day I was on the set, we came into the stadium.
Hmm.
Now I'd been to War Memorial Stadium many, many times.
Now, this is for people that don't know, War Memorial Stadium is where the Bills played before they were at the Ralph or Highmark Stadium now.
Exactly.
It's uh, downtown, right? It's
Yeah, it's on Jefferson Avenue,
mhm.
Jefferson and Best on the east side.
Yeah.
It is now a football field, soccer field, used by the Buffalo City High Schools
Hey, I think
and the
I've been
rec
there
leagues.
once since,
It's not far from Canisius, where you went to grad school.
right? Yeah.
But it was affectionately known as the old rock pile because it was built during it was part of the WPA
Oh,
New Deal
New
project.
Deal projects.
The but
Basically, the beautification of America,
exactly.
right? WPA.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Those
Yeah.
people that you could. I would like to just do a quick offshoot on this because the WPA is so interesting from a historical perspective. That was the idea where you could get a job with the government. Stop me if any of this is wrong. You
Right,
get a
right.
job with the government, basically going across the country, fixing and updating and beautifying different public works projects.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they built bridges, they built roads, they built civic arenas,
Mhm.
parks. Uh, well,
The
you and I have talked.
infrastructure that we see today is from the
It's from
WPA
the WPA. That's
and
why
requires
it does need
appropriate
care.
care,
Yes.
but
Um,
that's discussion for another
but
time.
you and I were talking. You and I have talked about this over the years, and I think we both in agreement. Since I am a big fan of the Roosevelts, I think both Teddy and Franklin did a remarkable job as far as being a leader, as
Mhm.
far as taking the country. Not so much Teddy, but certainly, Franklin had to deal with not only the Great Depression, had to deal with World War II,
Mhm.
and he did it admirably. I think the New Deal was ingenious,
Yeah.
and he sat down shortly after he was inaugurated, and he talked about the first 100 days. And the country was things were very tense in America.
Yeah.
People were losing jobs. People were losing their homes. People couldn't put food on the table. He in one fireside chat, speech, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
calmed the fears of America by saying, give me 100 days and you will see changes. That's how you lead. And
Hmm.
then we'll go.
Works Progress
I'll get off.
Administration was the WPA's. That's what the WPA was. What? Why it was called the WPA?
Yeah, they had the WP and they had the CCC, the
Civilian
Civilian
Conservation
Conservation
Corps.
Corps, which was for younger people.
Yep, focused on environmental conservation, planting trees, building trails, improving national parks. For the WPA was more building roads, bridges, schools, parks, airports. There was the PWA. I could go on forever
Yeah,
on
there
this,
was
but let's
the,
go
the
back to
so
let's let's jump back to Robert
so
Redford.
so let me go back to as I was saying, the day I was there on the
Oh,
set. Um,
this was because we you had brought up the stadium, the rock pile.
that's the rock. That's right. That's right. I wanted to talk about the rock pile. So anyway, I've been to many games in the rock pile, both Bills games and the Buffalo Bison games. Buffalo Bisons are a AAA team in Buffalo. They used
Mhm.
to play at War Memorial Stadium. Um, but I remember as a kid going there, and it was, it was your typical 1960-ish stadium. But when I walked into that stadium in '83, after the set designers and people got done preparing it to look like a 1930s era stadium, I it was like I was
That's what it
walking through a
was.
time portal. It had how in the old ballparks they have the big signage
Yeah.
and everything about, and it was remarkable. I had stepped back in
You
time. It
mean
was
like
phenomenal.
in Fenway, like the Jimmy Fund,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
big stuff out
yeah.
in the
But they used to
outfield?
have that. They used to have things like the. I can remember, for example, in the Yankee Stadium, they had the Rheingold beer sign out in center field. It was just a bygone era, but it was there. There it was. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But the day I was there, they were simply shooting a scene where Robert Redford would hit the ball to the second baseman. He'd run to first.
Some guy who's playing the second
Yeah.
baseman on another
And
team.
and first, like we were talking the other night, they brought out his double to set the lighting and everything, and
Hmm.
the camera angles and what have you, and then do a walkthrough. And then Robert Redford was asked to come out, and he came out, hit the ball. If you've seen the movie, that is his swing. That is not anybody. That's not somebody else. He had a natural swing. He had a very
And
good
as
swing.
as
Um,
I learned in the um, studying for this episode, and you also told me he played at University of Colorado for a year.
yes, yes, he got a scholarship for played baseball at Santa Monica High School. Teammate of Hall of Famer Don Drysdale.
What?
Yeah,
I
it was
didn't know that.
Don Drysdale and him both played for Santa Monica High.
At the same time.
At the same time, they were
That's
both
funny.
members of the senior class. There was a yearbook picture. They were side by side, and went to Colorado. Played for a year and a half. Had some issues, but chose another direction, and I guess that was the right choice
Probably the right move.
because he became an American icon. But got a
You
chance to
were
meet him, and he was a very genuine person. He took time to talk to me. He took time to. It was just nice. It was neat. So a really great memories. Just a little bit about the film. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. This I did not know, so
hmm
I was very it was very interesting. Uh, Bernard Malamud's book was written in 1952.
Yep.
It has a dark ending, and it's based actually on two true events. One, there was a Philadelphia Philly ball player, a young ball player by the name of Eddie Waitkiss. Eddie Waitkiss was shot by a woman.
What?
He wasn't killed, but he was wounded by a woman in Chicago. It was the first time that someone was charged with stalking in America.
The first time.
First time.
Don't you find it ironic that the first time they charge somebody with stalking, it's a woman?
Yeah,
When
it
I could
is. It
guarantee you men
is.
had been stalking people for
I
hundreds of years
know.
before that.
And then the second event that the movie was loosely based on was the
Hmm.
infamous, I guess you can call it, 1919 Black Sox scandal. where the 8 members of the Chicago White Sox allegedly threw the World Series. So those two events were intertwined into the book, The Natural, and then into the script.
If you
Uh,
get if you get the opportunity for anyone out there who's listening to this to watch the movie Eight Men Out, watch it
yeah, no, it's great.
because I think it will um, clear the names of some people actually. And from the reading that I used to had done in the past on Shoeless Joe Jackson, he was
Yeah, because you read the
illiterate.
book on Shoeless Joe. Yeah,
I read it more
yeah.
than once because I had to be him for a project in high school. And he couldn't read, he couldn't write. He didn't really know what he was doing, and I don't know that there was any real evidence that he threw anything.
I don't think there was, and I don't think he
He wasn't
even
the kind of he liked to win.
he liked to win, and I don't think he even knew he wasn't even. This is not a way of saying that he was not a dumb man. He just was not an educated
He
man,
just wasn't educated.
and
Yeah.
he really didn't know the ramifications of what was going on.
Hmm.
And so I agree with you. The other player who I'm convinced in doing some other reading and research, although he was caught up in it, but he claimed he never had any intention of throwing anything. I don't know if he took the money. I don't think he ever got the money. And he had a impressive stats for that series was Buck Weaver, the third
Hmm.
baseman.
Yeah.
So I think those two men had really nothing to do with the throwing of the series. However, they were caught up in it, and
Yeah.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis,
Landis threw the book at everyone.
yeah, he threw the book at everybody. Even though a legal, trial exonerated them all, uh, he still
And,
suspended all of them for life, which was a
and there's
shame.
some actors that you will recognize in the movie too.
Quite a few actors, yes,
Yeah. Buck
yes.
Weaver's played
Is it John
by
Cusack?
John Cusack. I can't remember the guy who plays Shoeless Joe, but well, if I see his name,
And the guy, you would know. I don't remember the actor's name. He's been in a lot of film, but the player that played Eddie Seacott is
see the picture.
yeah,
Oh,
he's recognizable.
David Strathairn.
Yes, yes, thank you, man. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
See, if you've ever seen his calves, they're gigantic.
yeah,
His
yeah.
gigantic calves. If you,
So so anyway, yeah. So the book was the screenplay was written from the book. The screenplay was dark also. And if you saw the movie, and Matt, you mentioned the other night, even the lighting in the film was very
Mhm.
dark. So get that
But as
that
you
thought
mentioned,
across.
the the gentleman who was the director of photography, won an Academy Award
Yes, for the Black Stallion. Yeah.
for a different movie, but was obviously no slouch himself.
No, no, no slouch himself. He
Uh, I didn't know Barry Levinson. I didn't know this was a Barry Levinson movie.
yeah, it was Barry Levinson. Barry Levinson was a very talented director.
Yeah, he
One of my
has
favorite
done
movies
tons
he
of
directed.
stuff.
I love Diner. I thought Diner is a classic. I watch it any chance I get. But anyway, um, what was I getting to? The script. Like in most cases, they shot two endings.
Hmm.
One a very positive, upbeat ending, and one a dark ending that kind of followed the theme of the book. And then what they do, they test these endings in front of theater goers. Well, we know which one won. It was the upbeat,
Upbeat
positive
ending.
ending. So, do you remember Do you remember, Matt, the scene of the climax when Redford hits the ball into the light
Lights.
standard? Okay,
Uh-huh.
I thought that was computer generated. It was not.
I posted a picture of that on our Facebook
Oh, did
page.
you? No, I
Yeah.
did not. I did not see that yet. I'm going to look after this. But yeah, that was filmed at All High Stadium, and they did have fireworks and everything up there to explode. So that was kind of the real thing. So,
Yeah,
but
I
it
got a
was
pretty good shot of I had actually posted some of this information, but I got a really good shot. Unfortunately, it's a GIF or GIF. I don't want to offend anyone. But but it doesn't show up on Facebook. It's just a picture of him rounding second base and the light standard exploding.
Uh, but I think the reason we wanted to talk about it, not only because he was an icon, but also because he was a very good athlete. Not only was he a gifted ball player, he was a very good skier. Did a movie called Downhill Racer, which he did a lot of his own stunts also.
Yeah, it
But
sounded like he did a lot of his own stunts and
yeah, he did a
everything.
lot of his own stunts. And I know, again, this is the type of person he was. This is not really sports related, but in the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which we both
We
have
both
watched a
love.
lot, he did his stunts. He did his own stunts. But however, they did um hire stuntmen just in case,
Hmm.
and they didn't use them. And a guy like Redford, this is the type of class the man had. He insisted that those stuntmen be paid, even though they didn't do anything, because they were there, you know, ready to do a job. So,
Hmm.
uh, great character. But again, getting back to his athletic prowess, very good baseball player. Everything that you saw in the film, the catches,
It's all
the,
him.
the batting was all him. And
The
you got to
swing
remember,
was all him.
this is about the size of a glove
Yeah.
back in the 30s. It's
Remember
not
you,
easy.
we had a little glove.
I got one here that I bought that was from the
Well, we had
1940s.
a little glove at home growing up that
Yeah,
wasn't my glove. It was another glove. It must have been your glove or grandpa's glove
yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't much bigger than my hand was. It was much harder to catch stuff with. Um, but I think we also wanted to talk about him because we both thought he was a American icon, great actor, is in one of our favorite movies. Has a great iconic line that we both love in that movie.
That was
Um,
probably one of the funniest lines I've ever heard of a movie.
uh,
And it kind of sneaks up on you.
it
You're not
does
expecting
because
it, you know?
it's a serious scene.
Yeah.
The Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and they're being tracked by
We're Pinkertons,
the
I believe.
Pinkertons, and they come up to the edge of a cliff, and was it I don't know who says which part. I don't even. I'm drawing
Well,
a
Robert
blank now.
Redford refused to jump.
He won't jump because he said he can't swim.
Exactly.
Paul Newman says, "Well, hell, the fall will probably kill you."
So it's just, yeah, it just sneaks up on you,
And
that
then they
line.
both jump in. Yeah.
So they both jump in, they both survive and end up in
You know,
Bolivia, I think.
in the natural, there's a scene in which he opens up the refrigerator and there is some Newman's Own
Oh, is there?
in the
I did not
fridge.
know that. I did
Yeah.
not still remember seeing
Uh-huh.
because it was a movie. And again, what I was talking about earlier, but many of the scenes were done in Buffalo using Buffalo landmarks and
Architecture. Yeah.
architecture. Well, that was a story. I want to relate as one other story that my sister told me that when the location scout, he was scouting old ballparks in the
Hmm.
Northeast and Upper Midwest for to shoot the movie. And when he got to Buffalo, he was in awe of not only the ballpark, but the architecture, because Buffalo maintains its architecture. It rehabilitates it, and I think that's fantastic. But I know they use the Ellicott Square building.
Would like them to find a use for the central terminal.
Yeah, the central. Well, they use central terminals. It's not. I hear somebody remodeling that, or
I don't know. I've
I
been
keep
in
hearing
there.
they are.
I've been in there maybe
It's not a
eight
remodel. It's more of a store
eight to
restoring
ten
it.
years ago, and the main area is cleaned up and is used for, you know, not conventions. It was like a beer. There was like a beer event there where they had a bunch of breweries
Mm.
and stuff, but still a lot of work could be done on that building. But uh, I had a similar reaction that I saw from a musician that I used to follow a lot. His name is Mike Doughty. He used to be the lead singer of Soul Coughing, and now he has a solo project that, although I believe the band may have gotten back together, but anyway, he was playing the Lafayette Square, and had I think it was even before his show. I saw him walking around the streets looking at the architecture downtown,
Right.
and he had posted about it on back when people still had like on online blogs, e-blogs or whatever it was.
Well,
But he
is
was
he from
talking
Is
about
he from Buffalo or is
no,
he
he's
not
not
from
from
Buffalo?
here.
Okay.
But he was just talking about how impressive the architecture was, and um, I think it might have been one of his first times there. So yeah, there's a
Well,
lot of cool buildings here.
well, those are great buildings. And I know the old psychiatric hospital was used as a hospital room in the film.
Richardson Complex.
The Richardson Complex, yes. So that wasn't in great shape, but
It's in
it's a
better
little better
shape
shape
now.
now. And then the
That has reopened as something else, by the
man,
way.
it's another hotel, yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's called what's it called? Did they use the term H.H. Richardson in the hotel? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Couldn't tell you.
and they used Parkside Candy, Main
Hmm.
Street.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was a fun time in Buffalo. Redford stayed at a house near Lake Erie. He loved the lake. He said after he left that he really loved being in Buffalo, and the people were fantastic. So I think Buffalo is definitely the city of good neighbors, and once you spend some time there, you appreciate it.
Hmm. I know we said we weren't going to do a full episode, but there was a Bills game since the last time
Mhm.
we
I think we should talk a little bit
I
about
wasn't
it.
up for the entire game. I have to admit I did fall asleep. It was a school night. Um, I wasn't surprised to wake up and see that it was 21 all when I went to sleep. I wasn't surprised to wake up and see that we had won. Wasn't surprised to see a late pick from Tua. I think the only things I have to say about this game were Thursday night games are difficult
They
to
are.
get up for. Winning one and seemingly hopefully getting out of that game unscathed from an injury perspective and getting that 10 days off before the next game, very important. And getting, another half game ahead of the Chiefs, play tonight, I believe,
Yeah, they play the Giants
um,
tonight.
is important for home field purposes. And the Dolphins should probably blow their team up at this point.
They should, yes.
If 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 I were a Dolphins fan, I think that's what I would be asking for. You got to start getting rid of assets, getting draft picks. Your quarterback is not cannot be your future quarterback because I just don't think that's going to work out. So
I had an interesting observation. I'm wondering. Well, did you see the interception, the Bernard interception, or
not in real time, or
okay?
not at the time
Have
it
you seen
happened.
it? Have you seen the replay?
Yeah.
I was talking to your aunt today in Atlanta, and I was wondering when Tua threw the ball. Now to preface that, when Bernard was interviewed after the game, he said they had seen that same play on tape that he they ran that play a lot already this year, and that's the where they went. So he jumped the route. But did you get the impression that when he threw the ball, he never saw Bernard?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking it might be craziness talking, but our the D lineman that played for Oliver, a
Yeah.
big 6'7", 340, is he?
Deion Walker.
Deion Walker. Um, I'm assuming he was in the game at the time. Do
He
you think
was.
he kind of blocked
I,
out Bernard?
yeah, I kind of do because he takes up so much space. And he was starting to, as much as a fourth round rookie can, he was starting to exert some will on the game.
Right.
What? Because I did go back and watch it.
Okay.
Um, like the the sped up replay. I
Right.
can't
Right.
think of the name of it off the top of my head. But he was starting to, you know, lean on their line because at his size, I, is there a guard or a center that can handle someone who's 6'6", 340, who's very
I don't know. I hear he's
nimble?
very quick and nimble on his feet.
So
And
it
did, did,
wouldn't
did,
surprise me if he blocked his view and didn't even see him, and all of a sudden he probably threw it, and then Bernard comes into the picture.
was it Oliver that said Deion Walker resembles a ballerina on his
I
feet?
think he
You're
was
so
like he
quick.
said he was like a bear with ballerina shoes or something.
But or we can say what we say a lot is that Tua does these things. He does throw picks at the worst time, and that this one cost him
Or
the game.
it's the third one, which is they flooded the middle of the field with zone because they know that that's where he likes to do his work,
Well,
over the middle of the field.
I don't think he throws well to the outside anyway.
Well, we know that. I mean,
He's just
we've
not.
we've discussed that.
I think we were talking today because I think I was in my head just kind of thinking, okay, if I'm rating quarterbacks, obviously there's Josh, Lamar, and I hate to admit it, but Mahomes, and then everybody else is
And
behind
then
them.
there's everyone else.
Everybody else, and there's some really good quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield comes to mind.
Burrow can't stay healthy.
Burrow, but he can't stay healthy. Yeah. Um, Stafford, good quarterbacks.
And
Uh,
before I hear anything about Burrow, one of the best abilities is availability, and you have to
that's
be
the
available.
saying. That's the saying. You've got to play.
It's Joshua Patrick Allen, who I first heard that
Hmm.
from. I
That's
like
right.
that Terry kept he called him Joshua Patrick Allen in Hard Knocks when they're
Oh,
looking
did
at the
he?
stadium. He goes, "Look at this Joshua Patrick."
So, yeah. But anyway, they look good. They won a game they needed to win. They also won it not the most.
Didn't need to win.
It was a little
Should have
ugly.
won.
Yeah,
It's a
was a
game
little
that good
ugly.
teams win who aren't playing
But yeah,
their
exactly.
best.
And as they said during the telecast, good teams find ways to win, and
Bad
good teams take
teams
advantage. So people are going to say, "Well, they got lucky because of the punt, the roughing the punter. They got lucky." Well, good teams do that. Good teams take their breaks and they make you pay.
hmm
And the
And
Bills,
bad teams find ways to lose.
yeah, exactly. And the Bills, after that, the penalty on the punter there,
hmm
the Bills, that's when they drove down and got the go-ahead touchdown.
Shakir had the touchdown, the
So
tightrope walk touchdown.
that's what good teams do. So
And then I guess the last thing is there was a bit of a dust up today in the Premier League. Now, did you watch the entire game?
I caught it. No, I caught it in the second half.
Okay, so you missed Haaland's goal.
Yes, I missed his goal.
He's just, I'm talking, for those that don't know, I'm talking Arsenal played versus Manchester City at Arsenal. Uh, Started this morning at 11:30. Holland, did you see have you seen the Holland goal? You'll have
I
to
did not
go
see it.
back
No,
and
I didn't see
see
the
it
replay. No.
because he does that thing that I don't know how you defend against it. The ball's in the middle, the ball's close to the final third, which would be in Man City's end,
Hmm.
and it's just kind of bouncing around, and it pops out, and Gabriel is caught kind of flat-footed. And Holland sees it and he does that shit where he puts his head down and he just runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're talking like he runs 2/3 of the field,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
head down, just chugging. And it annoys the shit out of me, but I gotta respect it because he went and he got open. He beat everyone else down the field. Had a little bit of a heavy touch on the pass, but was able to slot it home. And I thought that was going to be it until Martinelli had his
Yeah.
moment of brilliance.
Nice,
That's what the
beautiful goal.
outside of the foot too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a
Outside of the
beautiful goal.
foot, pops it over his head.
And he knew it. He just put it there. It's just like hitting a 9-iron or a
Like,
wedge onto the
yeah,
green.
I'm just gonna
He
knock
just
it.
popped it high enough to get over the head of
with enough pace to,
their goalie,
yeah,
and with enough pace for it to roll into the goal.
Gigi Donnarumma, who
Great
is a
touch. Yes.
physical absolute freak.
So today, I always kind of watch my Italian brethren
Yeah,
there,
he's been
Calafiori.
it's been very good.
He is also, I know I told you last week, I didn't know he was that big initially,
Hmm.
but when he was standing next to um, Harlan, he's not that much smaller than he is.
He's a
At
big
least height
man.
wise, mass wise, yeah, Harlan has, let's face it,
Holland's he's bigger than everybody
he's a
for the
Viking.
most part.
Let's just face it, he's a fucking Viking. But
I
but
said he took his shirt off at the end of the game and gave it to some little girl, and I go, "Does he have an axe on him?"
but well, yeah, Cal Ferrari, he was kind of posting him up, and he's pretty much matched him as far as height wise. I know he's a little bit shorter, maybe like an inch shorter, but yeah, I thought certainly I thought Arsenal outplayed him in the second half. I
Well, they did in the first half too, except the issue I really felt, and I won't belabor this so that we don't go too long because we have covered a lot of things today, and I've got a little bit of whiplash from it. But um, they, I think the midfield, I think, and it annoys me when I hear people say this, but I think Arteta made a mistake with his starting 11.
Mhm.
Um, I think that the midfield of Rice, Zubimendi, and Marino are too similar. They
Okay.
needed some creativity, so when they brought Etze on and slotted him where Marino was, which is
Right.
normally where
Right.
Odegaard would play, and he wasn't even on the bench, so perhaps that shoulder's more injured than I thought. When they brought him on, I thought that's what maybe the starting lineup should have looked like with Etze there, Marino on the bench.
I'd
I
say he
would
played
have
a really
liked to
good
see
game today.
him. I would have liked to see him keep Madueke on and take off Trossard because I
Right.
thought Trossard was getting a little bit manhandled from a physical perspective because Man City is a big team.
Oh,
But
yeah, big team.
him then bringing Martinelli on, was the right move because he might be a super sub now. I think Dave and I were texting after the game, and he had a really nice goal in Champions League after he kind of got lambasted for his performance against Liverpool. Martinelli, all he did is went, played for Brazil, came back, uh, scored a big goal against Atletico Bilbao in the Champions League on Tuesday, and then scored a huge goal today to at least pick up a point.
Because
When you've
I
already got
also,
Liverpool at 15 points, you can't be
no,
dropping
I
too
know.
many more
I
points. So,
also, well, I also think, having watched the game against Liverpool, I think it kind of followed the script today. I think they outplayed them most of the game, except the one time they were able to score, and then they couldn't score themselves. So
yeah.
kind of frustrating. But like you say, you got to rein in Liverpool. You
I
couldn't.
wonder if Saka makes a difference in that Liverpool game
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does.
because then you can put Madueke on the left side, put him on the right side, and then based on what I saw today, Etze at that central midfield slash central attacking midfield position, he was starting to find creases in that defense, even when they brought in what, five center backs or four
Yeah,
center backs.
right.
By the end of the game, they had really parked the bus. So I thought I think if they start the right starting 11, they have a much better chance of walking away with 3 points in that game.
Right, right.
I
Yeah.
was happy with the one considering how the game had played out then, but would have liked to see three.
What's your take on, because I know we were talking about him yesterday. What's your take on I don't know if you caught any of the. Did you catch any of the Man U Chelsea game?
Yes.
And Man U gets a break with the red card on Chelsea, and then
Hmm.
Casemiro gets himself a red
Uh,
card.
but he did score a goal too.
He did score a goal, and he did make,
Although I
and
would
they did win.
argue,
So
I would argue that both of their goals were the result of some pretty crummy goaltending. Um, my take on that, I thought it was a little. I vacillate between being okay with that second yellow card really requires a little bit more than the first one. But the
hmm
problem is that I don't know I don't see that all the time.
right.
Sometimes there's a yellow card that's like, what? Uh, or a second yellow card that's like that's not a second yellow. So I thought it was a little harsh. Um, yeah, I guess I would just leave it at that. I thought it was a little harsh, but if you're already playing with a yellow, why even put yourself in that position? Because that
I
almost costs them
oh yeah, well that's
points.
it. Yeah. And lastly, I just want to bring up one more tidbit
Hmm.
that I might want to make mention because I'm kind of channeling the uh, Andy Roddick on his podcast Served. I had a little bit of a rant on people kind of lambasting the American players, and because he thinks there's growth there. They do get deep into tournaments, but it would be nice to see him win one. But what I wanted to bring up is Taylor Fritz beat Alcaraz yesterday at the Labor
Oh,
Cup.
did he?
So yes, and he
I
looked
did not
really
know that.
good, played really well,
Hmm.
served well, and really had Alcaraz.
I assumed you were talking about tennis, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am. That's tennis.
Oh, but
Now, whether they'll win the Labor Cup, because the Americans are part of the rest of the world versus
but
the European team,
that's an important
but that's an important win. Yes,
result.
yes, because now he's got it in his head. He can beat this guy. Now,
Mhm.
what you and I
Can you
talked
do
about
it at a Grand
earlier,
Slam?
can you beat him and center? Because that's what
I
you're
don't
probably
know.
going to have to do. I don't know.
Mhm.
No, that's possible, but
I
he
mean,
does
he
have a
was
victory over
still having
Alcaraz.
issues beating Djokovic.
Yes, he is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
But if you can beat Alcaraz, you can beat Djokovic.
Yeah, no, no, I agree. I agree.
Now, it's a best of three format there?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a little different, but
a little
I mean, it's
different. Yeah,
still
it's a little bit
important.
different. Five
This
sets, a little different.
this one's still asleep. You see
Um,
her down there?
yeah, it's here down
Peanut.
there.
Hey, what are you
Just
doing down
watching the
there?
end of the game as we are. Guess who the Bears beat? The Cowboys.
Shocking.
Not surprising.
I'm
Hey,
not.
Jerry.
Jerry's such a great GM.
Oh, Jerry ball. I don't know.
Wonder why other teams aren't beating the door down to try to hire him as their
I
GM.
know. I know.
You got
I
anything
don't know about
else?
Jerry. That's
We
it.
went
That's it for me.
we went over an hour,
Yeah,
so
we went over an hour.
so much for a half an episode.
But we had a lot to talk about, and I think
Well, there's a lot of couple things.
we
A
covered
lot of
some
couple
important
things.
things.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I probably think our next show might have to be hockey related again because it is the start of the NHL season
That's coming up.
soon.
I think we got to go through the list.
But we
If
got to go
anyone
through the
ha
list. Yes.
How about this? If there's anyone listening that has something that they would like us to do a show on, please drop it in the comment section of our show notes,
Yes, we'd love
where
to
I'm posting
hear from you.
where we're posting the episodes. This episode will probably go up later tonight. Um, if not tonight, then I'll set it to probably go out at 9 a.m. But within the show posting on our Facebook page, you can find several links. You can find the links to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find a link to our podcast on Podbean. That is for Android users. that don't have access to iTunes. And then you can also find the link to our YouTube episode. And from there, you can subscribe to our page. Doesn't cost anything, but it lets us know, hey, people are listening, which is nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
You can also find us at Echoes from the Arena on Instagram and Threads, and Echoes from the Arena on Facebook. Anything else you wanted to touch on, Dad,
Well, the
before
other
we
thing I'm
end?
thinking out loud again, I just mentioned the start of the NHL season soon, and we might have to do a hockey related show. But then I'd be remiss if I don't mention we're also getting down to the end of the regular baseball season and the playoffs and what have you. So we might have to do a baseball show.
Which means we're
So
going to
we'll
have to
see.
brush up on our
Yeah.
baseball because
So we'll see.
you and I were talking the other night and we haven't really watched any
We have not
baseball
watched a
this
lot of
year.
baseball. There have been so many other sporting
Things
events
going
that we've
on.
watched, but I did mention yesterday to you that I was concerned about why am I not watching baseball this year because I love baseball.
Yeah, you'd mentioned this.
But
And
I looked at the ratings just out of the just but to use a baseball analogy, it was all left field. The ratings are up this year.
huh,
So people are watching baseball, which is good.
I will tend to put it on
So we will
when the
see.
playoffs
Yes,
happen. I'll tend to put
we
it on.
will see. I'm thinking we might talk about pitching, the art of pitching, possibly. I was telling you, I have a young gentleman I taught who was a pitcher and
Hmm.
a lefty like myself. And he had agreed to come out and talk about the art of pitching and how to use pitches to set up hitters and what have you, and what pitches
And I would love to talk about spin
are
rate.
are complemented and spin rates and that stuff. Yeah, so we'll see. We have to see. And if we get any suggestions from the listeners, we'll be more than happy to
We get a
oblige.
suggestion that we both like, we will research it and do an episode on it. I can promise you that. So, for Greg, this is Matt signing off for this evening on Echoes from the Arena. Have a good night.
Good night.